Welcome back to Not Ball Talk. It's your host Dietrich with your co-host Keith. Back at you with another one. Today we're gonna be talking about our quarterbacks and wide receivers top 10 going into the 2024 NFL season. Um, of course, we missed the episode following the Super Bowl, but of course, as you guys know by now, the Kansas City Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Um, Yeah, shout out to Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes, all them guys on that side, and
Steve
hopefully,
Spagnuolo.
yeah, Steve, yeah, what he said, and yeah, they had a shaky start. A lot of people didn't believe they was gonna be there, but they made it there for sure, and they did the thing, and definitely a good way to end the season after they started. One thing I do want to tap into before we get into our top 10 is I see a lot of controversy on, of course, like sports media talking about Kyle Shanahan and his choice to receive the ball. Of course, I forgot to ask you about this, but what do you think about that?
In the moment, now I knew both sides could get it, and everybody says you don't want to give Mahomes the ball second, whatnot, whatever. But truth be told, even if they didn't know the rules, you can still make an argument for receiving because their defense had already been out on the field for the entire last drive outside of that. So you're asking them, okay, we're gonna go into overtime. I need you to go back on the field with no break. That's a lot to ask them. So you'd want to give them a break to have their best shot to stop Mahomes, rather than if I receive, I go down, I score a touchdown, I get it. Now that's all the pressure on Mahomes, and now everything is four down territory. Now, granted he plays better in pressure, but in those kind of situations, your best shot is to make him be under as much stress and pressure as he can be. And that's what they tried to do. They tried to get him in a position where, I mean, they ended up going down and getting three, but if they would have gotten seven, it'd have been a whole different drive for them. So I'm not going to bash Shanahan and all of them for receiving the ball. I was sitting next to a 49ers fan, and that's actually exactly what I told him. Now, granted, it didn't play out that way, so everybody's going to be like, obviously, you don't give Mahomes the ball, whatnot. But in that moment, that's definitely what I thought that he should have done, and I wasn't mad at him receiving the ball and going out there and controlling their own destiny in a sense.
Yeah, I think I probably would have did the same thing. I would have received the ball and put the pressure on the Chiefs offense to go out there and make a play. Um,
And they
I'm
did.
more
And
so
you
mad.
can't respect that. Like,
Yeah,
they went out there and they made the play. Like, it's
yeah,
Mahomes. He's going to do that. That's why he's Mahomes.
yeah. I'm more so mad on how they started folding towards the end on the San Francisco side, on the offensive side of the ball. They left a lot of possessions out there during that game. And you can't leave possessions out there when you're going against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They always going to have something in their back pocket. And I think that's what their mistake was during the game. They left too much out there on the field for Mahomes to go out there, clean it up, and finish the game off.
Yeah. It
But
was good.
what? Oh, no, that was a
Uh,
good.
it was those plays in the interior that, they let Chris Jones, because there was like at least 3, 4 plays where they got a receiver open. And then, either it was a free blitzer or the guy just didn't pick up his assignment. And those small details that, when Brock throws it away, everybody's like, oh, that was a dead play. You should have tried to get it to somebody. But when you got Chris Jones barreling down on you, you got to make a play out of that. And more often than not, Chris Jones was barreling down his face. And that Niners line didn't show up when they needed to most. And, Steve Spagnuolo turned it up on him. Trent McDuffie played a phenomenal game. He capped off a great season. He was all pro this year. So he just took that knock for one of the top corners. But it was really just the Niners dominated that game for the most of it. And one of the pivotal points and I don't want to say he's as good or as important, but it's almost how when they had Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman, it was a 1A, 1B kind of thing. People, if they would have lost Fred Warner, the whole talk of the game would have been, oh, they lost Fred Warner. How do you bounce back from this? You didn't have your middle linebacker. But Dre Greenlaw is almost as important as him. when I tell you Drake Greenlaw fires them up, he's always flying sideline to sideline. Like he is that dog in that defense. He is the one that gets them going. Fred Warner might be the best player on that team, on that defense. But when I tell you the most energized, the most like amped up dude on that defense is Drake Greenlaw. And when they lost him off of how they lost him, it depleted that team. Look at the stats when he went out, and then the linebacker that came in. I think Mahomes went like 9 for 9 for like 100 yards targeting that linebacker. So it was evident that they were going at the guy that went in for Dre Greenlaw. And I think once they lost Dre Greenlaw, obviously, it's an uphill battle. You lose people, injuries are a part of the game, but losing someone in the Super Bowl that's that pivotal to your defense, I think Dre Greenlaw is one of the reasons that game ended up changing in the way that it did.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He is an important piece that I wish we could have seen. Still on the defense to better the game, but it was nonetheless it still was a good game by the Chiefs. Great game plan, and they scratch and clawed their whole way to the end for sure. It definitely was a great Super Bowl. One of the may not have been as much offensive power as people would like, but it was a great defensive game by both sides and handling business. Now to our top 10 quarterbacks, we're going to start with. You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
You can go first.
I'm gonna go first for quarterbacks, and you're gonna go first for wide receivers. Number one, I feel like it's a obvious number one, Patrick Mahomes. There shouldn't be no question. Number two, big trust, big MVP, 2 times. Lamar Jackson should be 2-time unanimous, but that's neither here nor there. Number three, it was like 49-1. It should have been unanimous.
No, I'm not making that face because of. I know it was 49-1, and I know that one other vote went to Josh Allen. I'm making that face because of the words that were said because of or prior to hitting record. I heard something that said it was a fake second MVP, but
fraudulent MVP. Yeah, I said that. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I said that. His second MVP was real fraudulent.
How was it fraudulent? It's 49-1.
I mean, it's like he got the MVP. I'm not taking that away from him, but like
if you almost go back like 2 times, you almost unanimous. Like it
that's
wasn't.
cool.
It wasn't bad.
He didn't do nothing to jump off the charts to be like, oh yeah, he the MVP of the season. In my opinion,
on every field he stepped on this year, he was the best player on both sides.
I agree with that. He was the best player, but he also had a lot of help on that defensive side of the ball with a defense that is triple crown.
All I'm saying is that defense was probably the best, and he was probably still the best player on that team.
I'm not disagreeing with you. He was the best. He was the best player on that team. Just the season was a little. Nonetheless, he's a 2-time MVP.
Go ahead.
Nonetheless, number 3, maybe a little biased. I don't really care. I got Justin Herbert going into next year at top 3 quarterback. I left a quarterback off this list. Damn. Yeah, I got him number 3 because new head coach, new offensive coordinator. I feel like the head coach is a real quarterback-friendly head coach. I've seen what he's done in the past with other quarterbacks who was not as talented as Justin Herbert. He's getting himself a top 6 guaranteed quarterback. I don't think he's ever had Jim Harbaugh has ever had a top 6 lock quarterback talent-wise. And Colin Kaepernick, he was cool. Who else he have? Alex Smith. He did have Andrew Luck. He had Andrew Luck in college, I believe.
Stanford.
So he's dealt with some talented quarterbacks, and I believe, in my opinion, is maybe the best one, in my opinion. So that's why I have him at number 3. But some people can have him at 3, 4, or 5. If he goes anywhere below 6, you don't know football. I'm not talking to you. Number 4, 3, 4, and 5 could be interchangeable. So let me just put that out there also. But number 4, I have Josh Allen. Even though he does turn the ball over a lot, he go out there and make plays. Sometimes they may be the wrong plays. He always backs it up. And if he doesn't back it up, he gets it back next game. He is one thing about Josh Allen, he live and die by making a play on himself, whether it's with his legs, throwing a bomb. But one thing he has to learn is to not always take the bomb, not always take the splash play, the highlight play. But I like Josh Allen dual threatness, throwing the ball, running the ball. Yeah, I like Josh Allen at 4. Again, 3, 4, and 5 could be interchangeable. At number 5, I got Joe Burrow. He very well could be 4 or 3. Um, yeah, Joe Burrow speaks for itself. Been to the Super Bowl once, 2-time AFC Championship appearance. He knows what he's doing with the ball in his hands. He knows how to spread the ball out, get it to all his teammates, and he knows how to make plays. He's just another playmaker with the ball in his hands. Now 6, 7, and 8, 6 through 9 really is where it really gets a little shaky. At number 6, I got C.J. Stroud. I have C.J. Stroud comfortable at 6. He could go 7, could go 8, depending on who you talk to. But I have him at 6 on how comfortable he looks to be a rookie. Another playmaker. Only reason he's not at, he could easily be at 5, 4, or 3, but I need to see another season for him to put him at 5, 4, 3. Well, definitely 5 or 4. I don't know about 3, but I need to see another season of him. And just making plays. He went in there and made no excuses. First year head coach, I believe. First year quarterback. Um,
First year,
he just went there, huh?
first year coordinator too.
Yeah, first year coordinator. He just went there and got the job done. Like he just did his job, no excuses. He just went there, got right to work with a playoff appearance and a playoff win. Yeah, playoff win. And yeah, he just another playmaker. I just need to see another season of him before I could put him over to one of the 3, 4, and 5 guys. Number 7, this might surprise a couple people. I got Jordan Love. I have Jordan Love. He can easily be 6. He can easily not 5. I need to see another season also, but he can easily be 8, 9, or 10, or he can easily not be in the top 10 to some people. But the reason why I got Jordan Love at 7 over these next 3 quarterbacks because Jordan Love is one of those guys that I've seen. He had a shaky start in the beginning of the season, but that back end of the season was crazy. So going into 2024, if he keeps that ball rolling, he could do some crazy things with the youngest team in the NFL, I believe, or youngest offense in the NFL. I can't remember which one it was, but it's one or the other. Um, yeah, he could make almost any throw, but again, he's another one of those quarterbacks that you just got to get decision making down and the right read down. But he showed beyond flashes. He showed games where he's that guy, and he's another. I feel like I would love to see him use his legs more, but big, tall, athletic, could throw. Um, yeah, he's starting getting real comfortable towards the end of the season. He gave some of the best teams a run for their money, especially with a little bit of regular help on the offensive side of the ball. Like their best players are rookies and second year players outside of Aaron Jones, like Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, uh, Datavion Wicks, Jaden Reed, Tucker Craft, Luke Musgrave. Yeah, their offense has some very great talent that I think he can be a force to be reckoned with in the next couple of years. Number 8, I have Jalen Hurts. I have Jalen Hurts here because I can easily be proven wrong, but I believe this year I'm going to put a lot of weight onto that offensive coordinator because I've seen Jalen Hurts be a great quarterback in this league, and I've seen him do a lot of fantastic things. But he can easily be after last season. I can't have him going beyond 6. Him and Love could be interchangeable, but Jalen Hurts could easily be 8, 9, or 10 also, depending on who you ask. But I have him at 8, dual threat. Um, yeah, he can play the quarterback position. One thing that I don't like is that he's a tush push merchant. A lot of his touchdowns came off a tush push. I feel like he's a better quarterback than what people look at for real. But that offensive coordinator really took him out of his game and made him play different. The play calling, the route combos was trash. It was a lot of stuff. It was a lot of hard things that he had to work with that I think he will bounce back better in 2024. 9 and 10. I got Brock Purdy at 9. He's only at 9. I mean, I feel like he could be closer to 7. I feel like him and Jalen. I feel like Jalen Hurts dual threatness. I like him a little bit over Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy, he's a good quarterback. I like what he's done in San Francisco. Um, like you always talked about his anticipation throws, putting his players in the right spots and stuff like that. He's earned more of my respect, but I still think that like his job isn't.
Oh no, you saw what I saw. You saw what I saw during that playoff run, and
His
then you
job isn't that hard to me. So, but I still have to put respect on his name. He still took that team to a Super Bowl. His Super performance could, depending on who you talk to, could go either way, but he still took that team to a Super Bowl. He is the quarterback. He still was making plays when he needed to and stuff like that. And he still had like a good regular season. So I feel like going into next year, um, if they keep that team together, he could be something good too. Now number ten is real. Number 10, it hurts me a little bit because, like I said, one, I left off a quarterback that should have been on this list in Aaron Rodgers. I feel like that injury, I think that injury don't really change a lot for me. I still know he might have a lot left, but I think Aaron Rodgers got something. But I think he's definitely better than this number 10 right here. But he had a good season last year. Uh, Dakota Prescott, he had a good season last year. He could possibly do it again next year, but yeah, I really don't have a lot to say about him. He could easily be taken out of the 10 also. I feel like Jared Goff may could be at 10. Aaron Rodgers could be at 10. Depending on where I love Kirk Cousins this season before he got injured. Oh my gosh. So Kirk Cousins could be at this 10, but going into next season, I think probably Dak or A-Rod should be right there. I still feel like it's somebody else that I'm missing, but I can't. I'm drawing a blank. I can't think about it right now. But yeah, those are my top 10 quarterbacks going into the 2024 season. And yeah, like I said, 3 through 5 could be in there. You could change out, swap out. Excuse me. And I feel like 6 through 8, 6 through 9, you can really swap out. But I feel like C.J. Stroud has earned that top six respect going into next season. And Brock, you could probably move up a little bit if you would like to. But yeah, that's my top 10 now.
Okay, I think I had the first two QBs, so I won't say too much about them. Mahomes, Lamar, they in their own category. That's tier one. Ain't these other Bama's ain't touching them. But then at 3, 4, 5, at three I got Josh Allen, and
Okay.
he turned the ball over, but I when I look at QBs and things like how if I'd have them on my team, a key part of that is the mental toughness aspect of it. It's not something you can chart or not an intangible that you look at on film, but you can see that when Josh Allen makes a mistake, it don't affect him. It's we gonna keep going. We gonna keep figuring out a way to make this next drive better than the last. And then he'll come out after throwing a dumb pick. He'll throw a 60-yard tud and then do a nice little celebration, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why Josh Allen's our guy. But then following him up, and the reason I put Josh ahead of him was just because of the consistent success that I've seen from Josh to just get to the playoff and how dominant it's felt with him out there. I got Justin Herbert at 4. Justin Herbert is now, since I've been talking more ball with you, I've been less inclined to like Justin Herbert. But prior to talking to you about Justin Herbert, I thought Justin Herbert was probably one of the most purest throwers of the ball. When you look at the film, like he be putting some things like it's up there with Rodgers, where it's just like you couldn't have placed it any better. And so I got he very well can be put at 3. I respect you for putting him at 3, but I just for the love of nobody wants y'all to win more than me, so like he can just be there solidified because he's a very great thrower of the football, but he just doesn't have the things these other guys have to link it up. But
Like
he's
like what the
so
what does he not have?
I mean, he made it to the playoffs, and then do I have to bring it up? Do you want to relive that?
Okay, that's one time. But I also feel like that the
Well, other
Bills
times
have
they
had
made
better.
it to the playoffs.
Okay, I feel like the Bills have had better defenses than us though.
D. One day we gonna have this conversation that I get defenses play a part,
Oh
but
my god.
if you good enough, you gonna make it. But that's not here nor there. But I got Joe Burrow at 5. That him making it to that bowl, AFC championships, like Josh Allen does it, and the reason I would have him up there with Josh Allen because he's made it look just as good. Now he might not have the flashy plays, but the film watchers love he be having the flashy plays. I said to you, I was talking to you about his pocket presence. It's filthy, it's ridiculous. But these injuries are really starting to catch up to him. Like he had one his rookie year. Granted, it was a bad injury, but he got hurt that year. Came back, played the whole season, then came back, got hurt. So if you're gonna be up there, like Pat and these Josh, hurt. Like these guys aren't getting hurt as often, so I just need him to be on the field a little bit more. But when he's on the field, he's a freak. I got at 6 the guy you had lower on your list. Actually, was kind of crazy to me, but as bad as this year was, I don't really like you said. I put more blame on the OC than I do on him. I got Hurts at 6. I think as much as
You
I
have
say
Jalen Hurts at 6.
I do, and it's because as much I am as big as a pusher that last year anybody could have did what he did with that roster, but the reason why I have so much respect for the level that he took that offense was because he played his best game out of that last year in the Super Bowl. He played a picture outside of that one play where he had the fumble. Every throw, every run, everything he did that game was perfect. And granted that one fumble was, you can say, what lost in that game. I've said this what lost in that game. But everybody and their mom knows if Kansas City wouldn't have got that holding at the end and gave that ball back to Philly, Philly was winning that ring. 100%. Philly was
I
walking
got a
back down.
question though. So Jalen Hurts is at 6 with all that talent. That's why I had him at 8 because he has a lot of talent on that offense. And even though he did have a bad OC, like I said, I'm blaming the OC 100%. He still could have. I mean, he started off 10-1, right? 11-1, 10-1. But he still had like a terrible. No, I ain't gonna say terrible. He had a regressed year, in my opinion. That's why I
But
didn't
he's
have him at
still
6.
I like I told you and it's why I say there's no I in team because the defense was awful. His offense wasn't clicking. OC wasn't putting them in positions to make plays. Like as much as people say, you have all this talent. Like at the end of the day, these coordinators and coaches are there for a reason. They got to put these guys in positions to make plays. Like I told you after the Tampa game when they were getting blitzed out of their mind, and all they did was throw all their routes to the sidelines instead of sending AJ Brown and Devontae Smith across the field. Like it was a poor scheme this year, and Hurts had a phenomenal game in the Super Bowl. I respect what he is as a thrower and what he is and how he extends plays as a runner. So I can't really knock him. I've got Peyton Manning Jr. at 7 and CJ Stroud. I, what? Wow! That when he was coming
No,
out
that
of
was
Ohio State,
crazy.
I was talking to one of my buddies, and that was my pro comp for him because he is the most pure thrower of the football. It looks effortless. Like he solidified himself up there as a top 3 thrower of the football. Top 3. You can't name me guys like I put Pat, Lamar, and Herb are only ones I'd say throw a better ball than him, and all of those are very arguable because he, like when I tell you, he just steps up, he gets to his back foot, it's out, and it looks, and the velocity on each pass is what it needs to be in that moment. And he, for a rookie to just come in and make it look so college like, they ran an empty set more than most teams this year just because of their trust in his ability to pan through the defense and make the right read and also get the right pass. And one of the things that people don't talk about with when he throws the ball, he puts it in such a wide receiver friendly position. Like all the yak that Nico Collins and Noah Brown and Tank Dell were able to get this year was because he would place the ball in such a position where they could catch it, but also have a lane to run. A lot of quarterbacks, when they throw it, they prioritize just getting the ball to the receiver. But he, while doing that, he also allows them to have an avenue to run. And I think that's really what's impressive to me about his game. The guy I got at 8 is, a guy who I really didn't know where to put him, but he's been to a bowl and he turned around a franchise this year.
No.
I've been telling you about him for quite some time. I think he's a very good quarterback. I got Goff at 8. I think
Jared
he
Goff at 8, bro. Like, nah, come on, fool.
you got to put some respect on Jared Goff, man. I don't know why you disrespect his game. Like,
At
hey,
8,
yes, because he has shown time and time again, like I told you earlier when talking about Josh Allen, like that mental toughness is a part of being a quarterback. And no matter what adversity that gets thrown his way, no matter what game, like they would have beat the Niners if Josh Reynolds caught either one of the fourth down passes that were delivered right to him. And then if he's in the bowl, you're not looking at me crazy for saying Jared Goff should be a top 8 quarterback.
I
But
am because I had Brock Purdy at 9.
and you were the main one saying I'd say Goff was doing a lot more to help his team than Brock was. Not a lot, but a good amount to where I'm comfortable putting him ahead of Brock.
It's around the same because they're kind of like the same player in my opinion.
I don't think so.
Okay, maybe not the same player. Like I feel like Brock can make a,
Archetypes, yes, but like
but Brock
Brock,
extended plays more than Jared Goff can,
he
in my
does. But I
opinion.
also think I've watched Jared Goff drop back, throw for 350 and 4, and it all been just straight accuracy passes. I'm just throwing to whatever man. It's anticipation throw after anticipation throw for 4 quarters. I like against good D. Like I've seen Jared Goff really rip that pigskin through some defenses. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
the biggest Brock fan, but I've got to see it a little bit longer and a little bit more on like a killer mode from Brock than I had. Like I've seen Jared Goff just turn into that guy and be like, all right, I got these guys on the outside, but I'm about to just sit here and dot up to win this game. And I've
all right,
seen I've seen it here and there from Brock, but not on as much of a killer level. So that's why I couldn't like them guys I got top 8. I really think are some dogs. Like you put them in anywhere and they're throwing anything. I think Jay Love, who I've got at 9, I think he was put into a very good position, and he was able to sit behind Rodgers and learn from Rodgers and learn from LaFleur. Their I forgot what their QB coach name is, but him too because he worked heavy with Rodgers. And I think he's aided his game to go from how he played in college to not be like Rodgers, but be his own version of Rodgers.
yeah.
And I think with him continuing that going into next season, I think he can really take that next step. But I couldn't put him ahead of multiple guys who have won Super Bowl or not won Super Bowl, been to the Super Bowl, been to AFC championships. And granted, he had its way with Dallas in the first round. I feel like quite a few teams could have had their way with Dallas, but I got to see him win some more and also look a little bit more consistent throughout the season for me to have him top 8. I don't care what you say. I don't care what any Packers fans say. I watched him lose a football game to Tommy DeVito. You
No, you're
are
right. I'm not disagreeing with that. He definitely started off very very shaky. He wasn't.
that this was like there were times Bama's were saying he's not even a NFL level quarterback, so you can't go
No,
from
yeah.
saying that about you to now you're top 7. Like granted, I know the NFL is where opinions change and things switch, but you can't just go from that kind of turnaround without unless you would have won came back and won like MVP, Super Bowl MVP, like you can't earn that. But I feel comfortable with him at 9. And now you mentioned Rodgers, and Rodgers was the one. Him and Kirk, I've got a dash at 10 because obviously I think Rodgers is much better, but they're two guys coming off of ACS, so they're really hard to predict how they're going to come off next season. I think Rodgers now being with the Jets, I think the Jets are just a shit show. It's a fire hazard over there, and they're as a team going to continue their dump. Kirk, I mean, if he goes to Atlanta, I'd like to see that. If he stays in Minnesota, I think Kirk can continue what he's been doing. I don't think the Achilles really affects him too much. Now it'll change some things, but it won't change too much. But the guy
Yeah,
that I have at
I don't think it
10,
changed a lot.
the guy that I have at 10, who's a rookie and didn't play too much, but off my eyes and how I felt about him coming out of the draft, I got Anthony Richardson at 10 because I really think he can push himself into that top 5 conversation next year. I ain't even gonna hold you. He is like you look at how Cam Newton was built. And one of the things that people loved about Cam, everybody said Cam could run, and everybody knew Cam could run. But the velocity that Cam put behind his passes was really what was impressive about this the 6'5" human being that Cam was. Like he would deliver balls 40, 50 yards down the field, and they wouldn't lose. They wouldn't lose any air. They would just be on a line. And I see that same from the games that Richardson played. He has the running aspect, and that's what everybody loves about him. But he can really throw the football, and the velocity that he can really exert behind some of his throws really allows him to like maybe be late on certain throws, or the window on certain throws closes a little later for him than it does for other quarterbacks, just because of what his arm allows him to do. And he got hurt, and he had a shoulder injury, so he may regress as a thrower. And those shoulder injuries, especially when it's season ending, even if they're just trying to be careful, they really can play a very big part in the career arc of the player. You see, that's what happened to Cam. He had a shoulder injury, and then he just took a dip. But if the shoulder injury doesn't hurt him and he continues the stride he was on, I think Richardson could be really something scary. But that's my take.
I wasn't expecting the Anthony Richardson one, but I see
Yeah,
where you're going with it. I see where you're going with it a little bit. But
I mean, go back and watch the all. Now you got all 22. Go back and watch some of the all 22 of some of his plays, man.
nah, yeah,
There's
yeah,
some
he crazy.
big things in there where you don't even see from majority of the all pro guys. So
Now we're gonna get on to our top 10 wide receivers going to 2024. I had a little.
whoa! I'm starting this one.
Oh yeah, my fault. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, the first three, or no, I say first two because you made three sound like it was interchangeable. But first two I had was at one I got Reek because no, I mean Jefferson is great in his respect, but there are ways to limit Jefferson, is what I'd say. There's no stopping Tyree. Like unless you double him and put somebody over top, there's no way to stop him because as human as we all are, he runs at such a level where you can't really adjust to it. And if you try to press him and you don't touch him, gone. If you try to press him and you get the hands on him for 1 second, you're only holding him for 1 second. There was one corner I've seen really get their hands on him, and that was L'Jarius Sneed, who was his former teammate, but that was also in the snow. So it was a lot easier to slow down somebody in the snow. When it's a nice day outside, he's a track runner, and people that are that fast without pads on are never that fast with pads on. It's almost like he's faster with pads on. And Jefferson, he's good at every aspect of being a receiver, but the difference that Tyreek just offers with his speed is game changing, and it can take over a game without a doubt. Jefferson, I just talked about. I got Jamar at 3 because why is that so crazy?
Jamar at 3?
Why is that crazy?
That's diabolical. Go ahead though.
Diabolical?
It's not crazy. It's
Jamar's
not crazy, but it's crazy though.
No, because even when he had Jake Browning come in, and he still continued being Jamar Chase. That he takes over games. Granted, he has T. Higgins on the other side, but Jamar Chase was up there with Jefferson. When he came into the league, he dominated. Go watch his game against the Chiefs, his rookie year, where that was his first introduction to them. Oh my God, Dietrich, I've never seen a man take over.
Bro, I know, but come on, no top 3 though, bro. Nah, come on. He cold though, but I think this other bro, my 3 job want me over him. But they still right here though. It's not crazy, but they right here. Right here. But go ahead though.
I think Jamar again with a consistent Joe Burrow, they're gonna click again. At 4 is where I ended up putting CD because I have a lot of respect for. Now, granted, I think CD gets a lot more hate because he's in Dallas, and him and Micah do like to run their mouths here and there, so that does garner a crowd that doesn't really like him. But CD has every year. Everybody's been like, we need to see CD take that next step. And every year CD has taken that next step. This year he was maybe I think a touchdown or a catch away from being Triple Crown. CD dominated this year. In every game he was in, CD was one of, if not the best receiver on either team. And he's garnered the respect to be traveled with. He's garnered the respect to be doubled. Every box you can ask CD to check, he checked this year. And he set himself out there to be in that conversation with the upper echelon of guys. At 5, I've got the guy who started out with 6 125-yard games. And I had him a little lower, but I got respect for A.J. Brown. I think A.J. Brown's real dominant. So I got A.J. Brown at 5. But I don't like the fall off that they had toward the end of the year. those guys that I have at the top, they stay consistently, even if their teams, battling some adversity. It's still, oh yeah, they're still out there. And I think he kind of fell too a little shy toward the end of the season. At 6, I got Tay Adams. I always like this guy's probably he's gonna be one of them guys always, no matter who Oakland puts at QB, he always gonna be one of them guys that you probably can't tell me there's 5 corners that are guarding this guy and sticking with him for 4 quarters. So this is where it get interesting though. The 7 through 10, and you can interchange these. These are the ones that I feel the most comfortable on my list that you can move around. But this is just for certain things that I respect as a receiver when it comes to route running, separation, contested catchability, all that. This is at 7. I got Ayuk. I think Ayuk is one of, if not the best route runner in the league. He does some diabolical things with his routes. And then after the catch, he's continued to get better as a player. At 8, I've got the guy who started the year out. Probably if he'd have kept going, he'd probably finish top 3 on this list, but ended up falling off and becoming a nobody. Diggs, the reason he fell off, or the reason he's at 8, is the fall off he had was really bad. Like, he was having games where it was 1 target, 1 catch, 7 yards. And I'm like, come on, you want to be you've been doing it for quite some time, but you can't have, like, your team was on, if not their best chance to win them all this year, and you were tucked up under your covers. So I can't really put you ahead of those other guys. And then at 9, I got 9 and 10 for me is like, and really 7, Ayuk at 7, I feel very cemented at. But I wouldn't mind putting Diggs at 10 and these 2 guys ahead of him. But I got Amon-Ra and Puka at 9 and 10. Amon at 9 and Puka at 10. But those 2 guys, I think, they play the receiver game a bit different than the other guys. Like, you look at them, they're not prototypical ones in the way that they're built and constructed. But the dominance, the consistency, and the overall presence that they demand on a down-to-down basis is why they've earned being top 10. You don't go Puka came out the gate just killing it. And throughout the year, it was more and more respect that was garnered to him. And then it just became, we're going to focus more on Puka than we're going to focus on Cooper Kupp. And when you garner the respect over Cooper Kupp, you really doing something. And he broke the rookie receptions, I think. He broke the rookie yards. Puka did it this year. And Amon-Ra, him and Goff have really just elevated their games together. They're very timing based, but I think with the timing that they've been able to feel comfortable with, they've accomplished some very scary abilities into where, he's throwing the ball before Amon even makes his break on his route, but Amon knows, okay, this is a route he likes, he might throw it to me. And they've really took that next step each year, and this was their year, but I don't see why next year can't be their year just as much.
That was a great list. I will say we do have the same exact people on our list, except we just have them in different orders.
I respect that.
1, I got the one and only Justin Jefferson. 2, Tyreek Hill. Both of them need no introduction. 3, I have CD Lamb. I have him right there because of the season. The season he just gave the world was kind of crazy, and I think the season he gave us was better than, I didn't stat check it, but I think that was better than any season Jamar Chase has gave us, in my opinion. Again, I haven't stat checked this, so don't quote me on it, but if I can remember, because he had like 17, 18, and 12 with.
Yeah, I think Jamar came in his rookie year and had like 15, but
Yeah, yeah, Jamar had like 15, 14 his rookie year. I know he had like 15, 14, and 13, 13, 12. But yeah, either one of them, and I have Jamar at 4. Like, it could be changed out nonetheless. But another reason I have CD at 3 is because he don't have another top 20 or top 15 wide receiver on the opposite side of him, and T Higgins what Jamar Chase has. So that's why I have CeeDee Lamb at 3 and Jamar Chase at 4. But again, that could very well be overtaken by Jamar Chase next year, depending on whatever he would decide to do. Um, I have AJ Brown at 5. Again, he needs no introduction. I feel like he could have been at 3, honestly, if he didn't have that drop off. Like you said, his drop off was very bad. Because he had a lot going for himself, and he's crazy. And at 6, I have Devontae Adams, and I thought that was another person he was going to leave off, but yeah, like you said, Devontae Adams is just one of those wide receivers who just
Had him at the same spot.
yeah he just does his job in and out. And honestly, I could have had him at 5 if I could have had him at 5 if AJ Brown didn't go crazy like how he did, or if Devontae Adams, excuse me, or if Devontae Adams played a little bit better. But with his quarterback situation, he didn't have a lot of help, but nonetheless, he still got 1,000 yards and I think like 7, 8, 6 touchdowns, something like that. Now at 7, I have Stephon Diggs. I have him at 7 because yes, his drop off was horrendous, terrible, terrible, terrible drop off. But I still know what Stephon Diggs give me, and I've seen him do it for quite some time. And these next 3 guys are fairly new to the list, so I think going into next year, Stephon Diggs is still over these guys, but that can very well be changed also. At 8, I have the sun god, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He can easily be 7. Could find his way to be also 6. But like you said, the Lions offense uses him in a lot of different ways. He could play X, he could play Z, he could play slot. He could go anywhere around the field if you need him. He's a 4-down wide receiver. He should never be off the field. But he also has a lot of wide receiver help. Well, in the wide receiver, I wouldn't go say a lot of wide receiver help, but he has different options on that offense to where his game is more open. He don't see like a lot of double teams and stuff like that, in my opinion. Like again, I haven't stat checked it, bro, but yeah, I feel like that offense has a great run game, a great O line. It's a lot of help to where Amon-Ra job is easier than a couple of these other guys, such as a Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams. And behind Amon-Ra, I have Brandon Ayuk. Again, either one of them could be. I feel like Ayuk can't go no higher than 7 in my opinion. I still need to see another great season, but he definitely displayed a lot this year in his route running and how he shows to get open, catch the ball, his yak. He showed a lot to me this season for sure. But again, he still has Deebo Samuel on the other side of him, Chris McCaffrey in his backfield. And yeah, I don't think he sees a lot of double teams if Deebo Samuel's on the other side and you have Chris McCaffrey in the back and George Kittle as a tight end also. At number 10, I was kind of torn in between with Puka Nacua, Keenan Allen, and who was my other guy? I can't remember my other guy. It was somebody else who I could have threw at 10, but it was mainly Puka Nacua and Keenan Allen. But
I had Mike Evans there. He was the other one I had in question.
the only reason why it's not a bad pick for 10, but
Now, 1,000 like 8, 7
yeah, that's yeah, he's
season.
doing his thing, but I just had to remember that we was doing going into 2024. So that's why I chose Puka over
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, factoring age and factoring Keenan Allen's health. Although, in my opinion, Keenan Allen was on the way to have one of the best seasons this year because I think he was like top 3 in receptions, yards, and touchdowns before Justin Herbert got hurt. And of course, like any smart agent wide receiver would do when my franchise quarterback gets injured, we're obviously negative. We're not going to the playoffs. Why would I go out there and injure myself more? And I'm gonna just go ahead and end the season short and on to the next one. But yeah, he was top 3 in almost everything. So if he would have finished the season, I for sure would have had him. I would have had him in the top 5 going into the next season off of the season that he had this season alone. I'm sorry. Like he only played 13 games and he's still top 11 in like yards. He's top I think he's top 10 like almost everything, and he only played 13, 12 games if I can remember. But I still have Puka Nacua at 10 though. Greatest rookie wide receiver we have seen, and that's statistically proven. And yeah, he came in and just took the world by storm, swept everybody off their feet with his route running to get open, his hands, his yak, and that's his likability. I mean, I know that's not nothing on the floor or on the field or the gridiron that people really, but yeah, Puka, like he's a guy. That's my top 10. Like I said, we had the same exact list, kind of like they were just in different spots. I do want to talk about you saying Brandon Ayuk is the best route runner in the league, though. That is false.
if not one of them. I won't say he's the best yet, but I think his name is comfortably in that conversation, though.
I still have like DT and Keenan Allen over him.
I could give you that; those two. I respect that. Those are guys who've been they're like the technicians of it. So I give you them.
Yeah, yeah, they're
I
definitely
think he's
above him.
comfortably like putting himself in that conversation, though.
No, he is. Yeah, he is. He's
Okay,
real.
that's all I needed.
He like top 5, 6, comfortable top 5, 6.
Comfortable top five. You don't got to put that six.
Now that 6 is more like a cushion though,
No, you don't need the cushion though. It's comfortable.
because like I can start throwing names.
Who?
Amari Cooper.
3. So that's 3.
Justin Jefferson.
When it comes to just strictly purely route running, I think I give Ayuk the nod. And nobody's gonna like me for that, but when it comes to running, how the tempo you run your routes and how you set. Now, granted, the thing that Jefferson does extremely well is he makes everything look vertical. So when he's coming back or when he's going a certain way,
Yeah,
it looks like he's just going straight every time. So
yeah.
it's hard, but I think even if Ayuk's not making it look vertical, his footwork, his technique, how low he gets, I think it's better than Jefferson.
To each his own. That's all we got for you guys today, though. Thank you for tuning in to that ball talk. We're gonna catch you guys next episode real sooner than later. We're gonna be doing a couple of draft analysis, breaking down the incoming rookie class, wide receivers, running backs, cornerbacks, maybe safeties. Not too sure. Don't quote me on the safeties, but definitely quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and we're gonna give in our around the top 10 picks. See where we think everybody's gonna go. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next time.
He passed me the ball.